And we're back with Lakers Weekend. And of course, it's another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcast, plus also as well, of course, your game source. And also, of course, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, giving you the latest news and information upcoming on the upcoming football season. So go ahead and check it out as soon as we start new episodes, which I will alert you when we go back to fantasy football for Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Of course, Mr. Joe Soro, aka Ox1947, you know him as that, but also as well, he is known by that moniker at LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out the conversations today at LakersBall.com. You know they're talking about what the league is trying to do against them with the very, very star-studded start for them. So go ahead and check out their opinions on the start for the Lakers at LakersBall.com. Plus, he owns a company that was working hard today. He said, I can't go on early, Gerald. I got to go on late. That's because I'm working hard at Simblades. Simblades with the Y.com. Plus also as well, Lakerholics.com. Jamie Sweet is still camping somewhere in the unknown. Last I heard, he hasn't been eaten by the cocaine bear as of yet, but he will be out this weekend. But it is, of course, the number one Lakers blogger that's out there is Laker Tom, at Laker Tom on Twitter. He will be here in the morning, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time. I will try to be awake for the conversation because I will be helping him out at Lakerholic Spotlight. So go ahead and check out what he has to say in advance on his latest article at Lakerholics.com. Plus also our good friend John McCallion at the John McCallion channel. He has lots of great streams right there for you to check out, talking about a myriad of issues. But not only that, but we're also talking about the continual struggle and continual things that he has to do in order to go ahead and shed off more weight because he's 50 pounds down, 80 pounds to go, and we're behind him 110%. You can go ahead and check him out today at the John McCallion channel. And speaking of YouTube channels, and I was just actually doing copy and paste of some of the disclaimers I put at the bottom of every episode, and fancy that! There's an ad already on yesterday's show that YouTube was conveniently running that we don't make money off of. We don't make diddly squat off of. Thanks a lot, Google. But we can change that. You can change that by going ahead and subscribing today. We just need 60 more subscribers. 61, 60 seems to change by the day. Just need just a few more subscribers to go ahead and get over that magical $1,000 subscriber mark. And you can help us out. And when you do, you'll get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. And if you can do all that, plus give us a 5-star review if you're listening out there, it's always helpful. It's always appreciated. And you know we absolutely love it right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Plus also our social media. Follow us there as well. And of course, everything that we do in the chat right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. But it is a Friday night, a late Friday night. Joe said, I need to go on late. Magic Man said, I need to go on late. So guess what? We start your weekend right here late night at the Lakers Fast Break. We're talking some good things because Shams Charania, who dropped the last tidbit on the schedule, you know, what we talked about on yesterday's show with opening night at Denver and Christmas night hosting the Celtics. Well, he got a few more tidbits in there for the NBA schedule, just a few, including a couple of the next games that are down the road for the Lakers, which means after the tough game in Denver on opening night, 2 days later, we get a matchup against Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. And this will be the first matchup between LeBron and Kevin Durant since 2018. I had to hear that and read that again when I saw that. It was just like, really? They haven't played each other in 5 years on the same court outside of an All-Star game? Wow. Okay. So 2018 it is. So it'll be almost 5 years since LeBron and AD have faced off against each other. So hopefully we will go ahead and see a great matchup then, barring any injuries, of course. But that's the second game. And then the third game on the 1st of November is none other than the Clippers, who might, for once, have two healthy star players. Might be the only time of the year they might have two healthy star players. So, putting all that into consideration and seeing how the Lakers got off to a 2-10 start last year, and it was a very tough start last year, I'm asking the question out there, is the league trying to do something against the Lakers? What's up with that? We'll talk about that today, but also as well this evening, we're going to be talking about Kobe being honored with a statue next, of course, August 8th, 8/8, 2024. That'll be coming to the crypto.com arena. We'll talk about that. Powell's big weekend as he's being honored into the Hall of Fame, and Team USA's weekend as well. But first, everyone out there, it is the Lakers. They threw a couple more games on the schedule. Just leak the whole thing out. Just go ahead, bring it all out. Just at this point, if you're just leaking little by little by little by little and feeding Shams Charania just like breadcrumbs so he could throw out there to the universe, just set the whole thing out there. It sure beats Christian Wood episodes each and every time out. And you know who I'm talking about when you throw Christian Wood episodes out there. The latest news on Christian Wood. The latest news of Christian Wood. Guess what? There's no latest news on Christian Wood. It's the same news that we had last week and the week before. If he is going to join the Lakers, he is at this point. If he isn't, he isn't. But here today to talk about the next two games on the schedule after Denver, on opening night, where we have to sit there and watch them get their rings and probably hear Michael Malone again try to go ahead and talk smack to the Lakers. A good man indeed. He's the madman from Toronto. He just couldn't get out of Toronto traffic unless he's talking the next games on the schedule or a Kobe statue or Team USA's weekend. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here, my friend, on this very early morning for you, a late night for me, but that's the way you want it. That's the way you're going to get it, my friend. So I ask you, you've got Denver number one as far as your first game. You've got right after that, you've got a matchup against Phoenix, who many are predicting might actually have a better record than Denver or the Lakers. And then after that, you've got an oh, by the way, game against the Clippers. And I think it's a home game for the Lakers. I'm not 100% sure on that. And you know, Joe, he is very adamant. We need to go ahead and beat up on the Clippers for once because we've lost to them like umpteen thousand times in a row. So your thoughts, my friend, on this? Is the NBA trying to go ahead and slight the Lakers with this tough schedule to start?
You know what, Gerald? I think there could be a little bit of that what do you want to call it? That corrosion, I guess,
Hmm.
because the Lakers are just like you said, we're that franchise that they kind of point out and say, well, if we give them a tough stretch here, they'll
Hmm.
probably pull out of it. But we
Hmm.
want to get as much eyeballs as possible.
To
So if
start
we,
off the season.
yes, so we'll give them as tough a stretch as we possibly can and see where the chips fall. And Gerald, just because of the in-season tournament as well,
Whoop de
it,
doo.
yeah, the Lakers are likely going to play one of Memphis or Golden State, guaranteed within those first 10 games, one of the two. Um, so it's going to be a tough stretch, honestly. You're playing three of the like, well, yeah, you're playing three of the top five Western Conference teams next year to start out your schedule.
I don't know
Plus,
about the Clippers yet. I'm
well,
still,
from last year,
I
well,
got, I was wrong on the Clippers, thank goodness. And I said the words that well, I will say to my dying day: if the Clippers didn't win it then last year, they'll never win it. And of course, we all know the reliability of the two stars involved. And Intel Wild is saying Kawhi is a great player when healthy, but look at his career; he's never available. Is he going to be out by game three? Seriously?
it's possible. It's possible.
I
I
got a
mean,
hangnail. I got to go ahead and be out for like 2 months. There you go.
Cool.
I'm gonna go get on my helicopter and go home.
It's amazing, Gerald. He's really his generation's Andrew Toney. When Andrew
Ow,
Toney
my
was
foot.
healthy, yeah,
Ow, my toe.
exactly. But when Andrew Toney could play, he could score 30 points a game.
Hmm.
As Gerald remembers more than me, but
I do.
yeah, but yeah, it's just ow, my foot, my quad's hurting me. I'll need 2 weeks to rest. Some knee tendonitis. Gerald, I'd be hesitant to, if I was the Clippers, to even play those two guys in the preseason for fear that something may twitch or something else comes up. I would kind of be on a razor's edge if I was the Clippers coaching staff and the training staff for those two in particular.
Do you really want to know that question? The answer to that question, search and destroy. Joe probably has it memorized by heart, and I saw him peeking in the chat.
It was
So
2013, 2014, I believe, like exactly 10 years ago.
that we haven't beaten the Clippers since then.
I
Uh,
think so.
in any regular season game, 10
I
years, or
I
is it
believe
10 times? I think it's 10
I
times.
think it's 11 games. Yeah.
11 games. Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
10 years. No, it's not that because remember we play them at 4 times a year, 5 times, four,
Maybe
six
I'm
times a year,
thinking at
5 times a
home.
year. Yeah, probably thinking at home or whatnot. But yeah, just that's still a crazy number. Regardless, I'm sure by the time that we go ahead by November the 1st, we'll have the exact numbers. Or Joe peeks it out in the chat. We'll go ahead and talk about it here. But yeah, 2014, Joe says was the last time. No, we've beaten them since we beat the Flippers in 2020. Yeah, I don't, Joe. I don't think it's what having won a season series. Last time we beat the bubble. Yeah, that's right. Z. Yeah, in the bubble 2020.
Yeah.
So I think that we haven't won a series since maybe 2014. Again, the LA Clippers were 32-7 versus the Lakers since 2013, 2014. Okay, since then, okay, they're 32-7. Okay. Not opening night, Joe says. Well, it's not going to be opening night for us. It's sort of going to be game 3 for us. So, yeah, that's something neither here nor there. The Lakers though, getting Denver, getting Phoenix, getting the Clippers. I don't know, my friend. That's a tough schedule. No one will have a tougher schedule to start off the season than the Los Angeles Lakers. Sean,
Yes, Gerald.
I'm like, Sean's like, pay attention. Joe's saying,
Yes.
pay attention. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, no, he's right. I should.
No, so your thoughts, my friend. No one in the league, from what I'm seeing so far, from however little has been leaked, no one will start off the season any tougher than the Lakers.
I don't think so, Gerald. I think that's pretty much set in stone. Um, Likely, you're playing the Nuggets, you're playing the Clippers, you're playing the Suns, you're likely playing the Warriors or the Grizzlies during that first 10 game stretch. Um, Normally, you can throw in like an Eastern Conference team as well, like a Milwaukee or a Miami there to early on. So I think the Lakers are going to have a really tough stretch out of conference and especially within the Western Conference during that first 10 games. But like we said, if they can kind of weather the storm or even come out like a house on fire, I still think that they could survive relatively well for a 6-4, 7-3 start. I really do think so, Gerald. Despite the tough
Again,
stretch.
6-4. That's the number that you had there. Joe mentioned that as well. I think that's probably going to be a very realistic number if they could get out 6-4 in the first 10. I'd say, you know what? I'll take that. I'll take that to start, and we could go ahead from there. The Lakers are bound to have some type of easy stretch at some point in time where they're playing probably a lot of East Coast fodder. It all depends, again, how this schedule lays itself out. Maybe around the time of the NBA Cup. I'm not sure, so we'll have to wait and see how this all works out. Adam Hurley says it's official. Christian Wood's waiting to see if Nikola Jovic from the Heat gets traded. If he does, he goes to the Heat. If he doesn't, it goes to the Lakers. I don't see who official by who. I don't see official. I don't see that. Adam, it's not official until we see it's official. It's not been confirmed by ESPN or by any reputable news outlets right now. So,
No,
yeah. So I don't know about that. So we'll wait and see. They could be waiting a while to see if Nikola Jovic gets traded because remember, there's also a Thomas Bryant in in Miami, and he plays a similar position to Christian Wood,
not
yeah, so he'd
not to
be fighting
mention
for minutes there.
not to mention Gerald, the Heat also picked up Orlando Robinson, and they would. I'm almost certain they would rather see him play than Christian Wood.
Yeah. Eastern Conference fodder would be great, Joe. As I mentioned, Joe's in the chat right now. Ox 1947. I'd like to see them go ahead and have a stretch where they could really beat up on them. Maybe in the month of November. Again, we don't know that for sure as of yet. They should just go ahead and release the schedule at this point in time, but we'll wait and see. Again, I know that the fact that the Lakers start off with a tough road to hoe, maybe that's the way they like it, Magic Man. Maybe they like the challenge in front of them because the challenge will certainly be out there in those first three games. The thing though is the Lakers do get those two of those three first games at home. Do you think that will make a difference to the Lakers as far as maybe getting out of it with a 2-1 record to hopefully get them on the road to a better season?
Oh my God, let's hope so, Gerald. Because last year, I mean, didn't we start out only winning about 14 of our first 30 home games? My goodness,
Yes.
that was painful.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and especially if you wanna win 50 or more games in an NBA season, and that tells somebody, just even a casual, wow, that team had a really good season. If you want to win 50 games, you have to win at least 70% of your home games. So you have to win like anywhere from 27, 28 to 30 to 32 drilled if you really want to have a great record. And it's incumbent upon the Lakers to play well at home to start the season again, because that was a problem last year. They stumbled out of the gate, especially at home, especially in that first quarter, and that can't happen. It can't happen again. There can't be. Nobody thinks we're going to go 2-10 again. But we also can't repeat the bad habits we had as well by just starting out sluggish or coming out of the gate half-assed, and all of a sudden we're down 12 to 15 points before the quarter's over. And we saw what happened last year, Gerald.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about momentum. And the Lakers 2-10 to start off the season had to work so hard just to even get to 500. Let me ask you this, my friend. If you remember, it was later in the season. The Lakers were probably in their 75th, 76th game before they made it to 500, if I'm not mistaken. It's there sometime
Yes.
in the 70s. Sometimes in the 70s. Yeah, they flirted with 500 and then they dropped back down and then they got back over it finally in the last 10 games of the season. So, yeah, that 2-10 start was an absolute killer. And I just got to tell you right now, they need to do everything in their power if they are at full health, Magic Man, to make sure they get off to a better start in those first 10 games.
100%, Gerald. And again, as we saw last year, um, they just found new ways to lose, man. Like that those first 12 games, they just found new ways to fumble the bag. Um, just win, just win it. Over that first 10 games, it's going to be hell on wheels, especially with the teams they're playing. But you know what? Season is a marathon, it's not a sprint. There's going to be 72 games to go after that. If they can weather the storm and go 6-4, 7-3, I think that is a good fortuitous sign looking forward, Gerald, especially given the fact that they got the short end of the stick with the schedule this year. Unfortunately, with the in-season tournament going on, and the group they found themselves in, I mean, my goodness, other than Utah and Portland, the Lakers are probably in the toughest group. I would say in the entire NBA that the West Group A is probably the toughest. Um, that's going to be seen in that tournament. So it's going to be a tough stretch, but they've got the fortitude and the depth to get through it. They just got to find a way.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening on this late night as we talk a little basketball here with the news that the Lakers will, of course, in the opening night, go to Denver, play against the Nuggets. Then 2 days later, they go ahead and face off at home against the Phoenix Suns in the first matchup between, if they stay healthy, they always got to put a little that in context right there. If they stay healthy, LeBron versus Kevin Durant, first matchup since 2018. And then also after that, on the first, they play host to the Clippers. So as Joe Sorrell now joins us here in the chat, it is Joe Sorrell. Joe, I'll bring you in on this, my friend. When it comes to the first three games, again, they should just at this point release the whole dang schedule, but okay, whatever. The first three games for the Lakers are a little bit of a tall task. Do you like it? Do you like the challenge set forth by the league saying, hey, you got to go ahead and play some of the best teams in the NBA to start off the season, Joe?
Yes, because you're more than likely going to have AD and LeBron fresh in the first few weeks, so that when you're playing the so-so teams a month or 2 months after, you can rest LeBron and AD a little to combat that. So yeah, I would rather have a challenge here at the beginning of the season so that we can get the main guys into it and able. So I have no problem with it. Plus, they have some revenge that they need to serve. What was it, Sean? What did Tony Soprano say? Revenge is like serving cold cuts.
Yes.
Old Star Trek proverb from the Klingons. Revenge is a dish best served cold.
That's not how I said.
I said from the Star Trek standpoint. You did it to Sopranos. I did it Star Trek. So
yeah.
The point of the line was to laugh at the butchering of the line. Thanks for ruining. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
butchering.
Anytime.
Yeah, the Lakers are in a.
It's Quasimodo predicted all
yeah,
this.
Quasimodo predicted all this. Quasi what? It's important that the Lakers make an immediate impact this season, so that they can let everyone know that they are ready to compete from the beginning for a title, and you're not going to stand in their way. And as far as their schedule being a little rough, well, at this point, the East got weaker, in my opinion, and the West got stronger. So let's just call it what it is. You know, the first round draft pick is again another guy that's supposedly the best prospect in the history of sports. He was to San Antonio, so even
until
the lower
Cooper Flag comes out,
right? Cooper Flag, and now I guess he's not coming out until 2025.
Is that 20? I thought he was coming out a year earlier.
He was, but apparently he had to register something, and now it's going to be in 2025. At least that's what I heard. So yeah, it's that kind of setup where even the lower teams are still getting the best players. Even when New Orleans was stinking, they had the luck of getting Zion Williamson, and of course that hasn't worked out so far. But you know, that's just what it is. But I'm ready for the Lakers to serve some good dishes here, and I'd like them to start 6-4, 7-3 in the first 10 games, and I'll start feeling really good about their chances this season.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Sorrell, Magic Man, Sean Grice, and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We're going to close out this part of the conversation here. One more last thought from Sean. Again, we still don't know what the early season, rest of the season, the entire rest of the season is like for the NBA. We haven't been, granted that opportunity as of yet. At this point, Shams is just feeding you like breadcrumbs, a little game here, a little game there. And they talked about the Heat and the Celtics and that first week. That's great. Whatnot. Builds that anticipation. Are you sick of this? Just go ahead and release the dang schedule already.
Yeah, exactly, Gerald. Or just release the blocks that you want the most eyeballs on, right? Opening night, Christmas, MLK Day. What do we got?
What? Yeah, the NBA Cup for the. If you want to start hyping up this NBA Cup, what are these matchups for the NBA Cup?
Release
all about?
that early, exactly, Gerald. Instead of all this drip, drip, drip. It's a little banal, as the English would say. It's a little banal, a little tiring. Gerald's right.
Reminds me of the 300 Christian Wood podcasts that are out there for the Lakers.
Yeah, don't put on the tease a little. Just, either don't release it and let us wait, or release the whole damn thing early.
It just frustrates.
Make an event out of that. Make a 2 or 3 day event out of that. They do it with college football. I don't see why the NBA couldn't do it as well.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. I will ask you, though, Joe, when it comes to what we're seeing with the Lakers and the schedule, and then, of course, what we talked about with Christmas at home versus the Celtics, I think, again, if they're able to go ahead and get through this, whatever this tough early stretch is, I think that it's going to be something where the Lakers, like you said, if they're come out of it healthy, they come out of it like you called it yesterday, 6-4 in their first 10. That ain't too bad, my friend. I'll take that before they go ahead and maybe get a little bit of a lighter schedule.
It's important that the Lakers know that the schedules, the strength of schedule doesn't really pertain to them. You're going to have to be ready to play the Lakers. They're the problem, not the other way around. We're looking at the Denver Nuggets, who are likely going to, in my view, have a lull this year until they prove me otherwise. The Clippers are a walking, I was going to say another word, but I have to keep this PG. They're a walking gelatinous something. I can't say the word. I'm sorry. They're a disaster. I don't care about the Clippers. The Clippers can't seem to understand. They're saying things like Russell Westbrook is their leader, and I'm sitting there just listening to this. Just the more delusion I feel people have, the worse it actually gets by the day. How delusional are you to actually say that Russell Westbrook is anything other than a roster spot who does a couple things for your team? Kawhi Leonard not playing and Paul George not playing, your team is nothing. It doesn't matter. So I don't see how Kawhi Leonard's going to play more than 50 games. Maybe Paul George might play 65. Okay. Then what? Are they going to make it till the end of the year? We'll see. Then you have Phoenix. We've talked about Phoenix ad nauseum. Unless I see them get out of their own head, Booker, Durant, Ayton, probably the three of the probably 5 most soft players in the NBA with the talent that they have. I'm not going to be too concerned about them. Memphis got better, barring any dumb things coming out of John Morant.
Well, remember, they've got 25 games without him to start the season.
Right. So if they can weather that, come out, I don't know, let's say 15-10, then they're going to have a pretty darn good team to deal with in terms of throughout the season. And then after that, it's, just the West, even the ones that I'm not talking very highly of, are going to be teams that can win games throughout the year. It's just who's going to win the title and that's all that matters. And that's what we're going to be waiting for. Sacramento kind of sits maybe a little bit lower below LA, the LA Clippers, in that
Remember, they were the healthiest team last year in the NBA. I don't think they're going to have that same kind of luck twice in a row.
No, but they do have a young team, and there might be something there, but you're going to, again, have to show me if you're ready to play when it matters, which, is the first year they've been in the playoffs in, 17 years. And they were a Sabonis shot, just chippy shot away from winning that series against Golden State. So I'll give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. They do need like a couple more guys, I think, that can kind of take them into another set or step, I should say. But who wants to go to Sacramento is the question. That's always going to be the question. I'm looking at Oklahoma City as the team that I think is going to, especially if Chet Holmgren is truly healthy and is who he's supposed to be. I think Oklahoma City will be a team that can make some noise because they do have the focus. They do have the good coaching. They do have the good front office. They do have a good culture that's built in there. So I would pay attention to Oklahoma City as far as this coming year. The Golden State Warriors are a year older. I find it extremely hard to believe if they're actually going to be better this year. They didn't in any way upgrade their talent, really, in my eyes. So they're either going to stay the same or be worse. So that's, again, it's still anything better than in the East. It's still anything better than the East, which is pretty sad to say. But I think the Lakers are in a very good position to start the season with a little bit of uncomfortableness so that they can take advantage of the fact that the guys are fresh, take advantage by winning the majority of these tough games so that the guys, once they hit the easy schedules and the easy weeks, somewhere maybe in December, once we see what the schedule looks like, that's usually when it happens, then you can start, managing the minutes a little bit better for the boys and seeing if you can steal a couple with the role players taking the first and second options.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. We're talking the openings part of the schedule for the Los Angeles Lakers as they will face off first against the Nuggets on opening night. Then a couple days later, they face off for the first time between Kevin Durant and LeBron James. The Lakers host the Suns. First time for those two to face off against each other since 2018. And then a couple days after that, on the 1st, you have the Lakers hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. So again, we don't hear much. We're just, again, peeking a little bit here and there. Shams talked about the Heat at the Nuggets in February, on leap year day in 2024. I mean, again, Magic, it's just so irritating to just see him pick and choose what they want Shams to go ahead and post. Okay, leap year day in 2024 for the Heat Nuggets for a finals rematch then. And then all these other it's months that you're just skipping over just because you want to go ahead and talk.
Guys, Shams and Woj are not NBA season guys. They're strictly
they're corporate.
Yeah, but the league is sending them
They're breaking news, free agent guys. They're nothing after that. And then once in a while, they'll put Woj on TV and say, what's going on at the deadline. That's it. They're deadline guys and free agent guys. That's it.
But the league is sending them these notices.
Yeah, the only relevant information that they're sending them is during the trade deadline or free agency. That's it. They don't have any inside anything.
No,
Nothing.
but I'm saying they're the ones
most teams
Shams is the one that's dropping.
Most guys don't. Look at Wendy. Look at Shelbourne. Look at all these people that
Joe,
used to have.
Who is the one that's giving this information? Shams Charania. It's because the league is allowing him to go ahead and drop this information.
This is not information that's relevant to breaking news kind of stuff. We know the schedule's coming out at some point.
I know, but he's the one that's being allowed to leak this information. Just this few amounts of games. Just leak the whole schedule. Put out the whole schedule by now. It's just that it's irritating that they're just allowing Shams to go ahead and just pick and choose which games he can go ahead and give a shout out to. That's what I'm saying. It's irritating. Just get out the whole list, so let us all, so we can talk about the whole list of games, so we can see exactly what the landscape of next season will look like. What's the landscape going to be with this NBA Cup tournament? Yeah, all these conversations can start already in earnest to get the league even more information. But when you're only allowing Shams to go ahead and announce a certain, selected number of games, that seems kind of, I don't know, it just seems like they're just only showing you pieces of the puzzle instead of the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. And Gerald, the NBA, along with a lot of other Fortune 500 companies, actually test run these kind of things, and they have think tanks. And instead of listening to what people want, Gerald, they're telling us what we want. No, we don't want this drip, 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 drab. Like Gerald was saying, either blank or get off the pot. Release the whole thing or stop with the tease. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple.
Adam Hurley says, "What do you guys think about Cam Thomas? He hears that he wants to be traded because he's looking for a good opportunity outside of Brooklyn. Good scorer, not going to do much else for you anywhere else, but the guy can fill it up certainly. Whether or not he's going to be an NBA starter or a guy that's going to fill it up like Vinnie Johnson or just for Jamal Crawford, he might actually follow that realm. That's not such a bad idea." There, Joe, just have Cam Thomas coming off the bench for you, just lighting it up.
I don't see the Lakers giving up assets for a Cam Thomas. If the Lakers don't really have any kind of talent that's going to change another team's fortunes. If someone is to take on D'Angelo Russell, Vando, whomever that's on, let's say, a 1-year contract technically, at this point, which is what Vando and Russell are. They're doing that to unload probably a 2 or 3 or 4 year contract that they don't want. And that guy has to be someone that could probably be a third option for the Lakers for the stretch run. I don't see any other person coming in at that point. There would be a chance if it was a couple players that the Lakers could get in a 3 or 4 team trade, maybe, but those are very difficult to make. So the Lakers, in terms of trades, in terms of whoever demands a trade, if that person isn't let's say a Middleton type talent, I'm not saying Middleton, I'm saying that second option guy, maybe third, I don't see them going anywhere there. I think they're going to ride this team until they win it, or lose it, however that works out, and that'll be it. I just don't see it. I've been kind of looking at the list of just the top 20, 30 players in the NBA. Let's say James Harden stays or gets traded, or Lillard stays or gets traded, whatever happens there. Who's next? We've been talking about Trae Young, on whether he might be someone that, if things don't start well in Atlanta, is he going to be one of the guys that's going to be complaining about for the third time? Is this going to work in Atlanta? That could be a very interesting process. Would the Lakers want to do that? Would they want to even explore that? Is the money going to work? But in talking with our Atlanta Hawks insider Wes Morton, looks like there's some positiveness there, and I don't know if that's going to happen either. So then, who's next on the list? I'm still kind of up in the air at this point. I don't know who it would be. Would it be a Julius Randle if the Knicks don't play well? Would that make a difference? It's a lot to think about, but I'm going to focus on the Lakers, and I'm not really too bent out on whether the schedule is out or not. I don't really care at this point. It doesn't really make a difference. I know for our show, it would give us a little bit more material, but in that waiting for the schedule to come out, I think that gives us more thought to bring in good content to the show, more original content, and entertaining our audience. But I'm 50-50 right now, or maybe even less than that, actually, in terms of what's going to happen. I would say 25-75 that the Lakers are going to make any moves during the year. I think they're going to ride this team. Of course, they're going to add a big at some point, whoever that is. And then at that point, they're just going to cross their fingers and hope that AD and LeBron stay healthy enough so that they can make a run. Because look at what happened. Look at what happened last year. They went into the playoffs with one limb, came out and grew out two more limbs, but they needed that fourth one to beat Denver, and they couldn't get it. So, I mean, I'm sure that's how they're looking at it. The only negative is AD and LeBron are a year older. So you have to put that in there. But let's hope the gap between getting enough reinforcement and enough youth can cover a little bit of that. And, of course, Darvin Ham's coaching is going to be essential in how the team progresses during the year.
I will say it's true. They are a year older. We'll say, though, up until last year, it was a couple years off between, deep playoff runs. So I think given everything that's equal, like we were saying with health, they're ready to go. I don't think the gas tank is a worry at all.
We'll see what happens, though. But it is looking like it's going to be a nice challenge. First three games, Sean and Joe are just going to go ahead, and we'll talk about more with the guys when we get more of the schedule as it happens. But before we head on out, I wanted to go ahead and mention, once again, this is the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Please go ahead and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. Like tomorrow in the morning when I go on the air for Lakerholic Spotlight at 10 o'clock in the morning. So go ahead and subscribe so you can get that notification when we go live in the air, because Laker Tom still imagining AD as that stretch four that he's always dreamed of. But before we go ahead and talk about that on our way out, I want to go ahead and mention a couple more things. Team USA plays this weekend. Not one, but two good challenges against Slovenia tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Your thoughts on this first matchup, and then Spain on Sunday at the same time. First game on Saturday is on Fox Sports 1 at 12:30 Pacific. The next game on Sunday is on Fox against Spain. Your thoughts, my friend Sean, on this nice little challenge that the Team USA will have this weekend?
Absolutely, Gerald. Slovenia should be a good test. I'm not sure if Luka is going to play in that exhibition game or not. I haven't seen word that he is going to play for sure. Hoping you can confirm that for me, but it should be a good test. Slovenia is, they're again, that's a top 10 team in the world, so it's not as if you're playing, a Puerto Rican team that's going to be. Go ahead, Gerald.
There looks like they might. The only thing I've seen as far as reported today is that they might limit his minutes, but it looks like he will be playing as of this time. It's not 100%.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Makes sense. Likely plays first quarter or first half.
What is this time load management in a 10-game tournament?
Well, I guess touche. But I guess my thinking is that they don't want to burn too much rubber off the tires here.
Okay. Joe, you could just tell Joe. It's just, oh, that's funny. Joe just gets so irritated by that. What are they going to do?
Rightly so. But I mean, those tickets weren't free. I think that's the point. Those tickets weren't free, and a lot of people probably paid a lot of money, hopefully to see him play. And Joe, go ahead.
I'm not. I have nothing to say.
I will say though that
You said just
I
Zangerstein.
have nothing to say.
Joe is in utter
I'm not even going to talk.
disconstipation.
I'm listening to Sean the rest of the way. I'm not talking about this anymore, or at least for this
I'm
tournament.
sorry I brought it up.
No. It's good that you did. I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna have it spill over to the FIBA thing. No.
Okay, I will say though that Zangerstein says she doesn't want to deal with the traffic, so she's not attending. But if any one of our audience members, when it comes to FIBA, when it hits the Philippines, is going to go ahead and check out the action, we would love to hear from you right here at the Lakers
Please.
Fast Break. But it is in España for this weekend, so we'll see what happens with Slovenia.
And then Spain on the Sunday, Gerald. That'll be very interesting. Spain was dealt a devastating blow about a week ago when Ricky Rubio said that my professional career is on hold for the time being,
citing his mental health. And you got to respect someone for saying if they're not 100% into it, they're going to go ahead and try and get themselves right. So I can totally understand that. So we wish him the best. But yes, Slovenia on Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Again, that's on Fox Sports 1. And then on Sunday, that's on Fox. Same times, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, right there for you against Spain itself. So yeah, some interesting matchups this weekend, and we'll follow it. Actually, Magic Man has said he's going to be doing the post game on Saturday and Sunday. I will probably join him on Sunday. Hopefully Joe or Laker Nick will join him on Saturday's show. So definitely looking forward to that there. But again, I'm hosting Lakerholics on Spotlight on Saturday. So we'll go ahead and have a nice full lineup for you this weekend of Lakers Fast Break shows. But before we head on out, guys, do want to go ahead and mention Kobe Bryant. It was announced that a statue outside of Crypto.com Arena on, of course, very fittingly, August the 8th, 2024, a new statue for Kobe and Gigi will be displayed on the outside of Crypto.com, and that'll be erected there and will be awesome to see. So, Joe, now that we can get you back in the conversation, talking about the statue for Kobe, I believe there's also one that was displayed earlier this year near the crash site. Is that correct? With Kobe and Gigi, is that correct?
Yes.
So, yeah,
near
in
Calabasas.
Yeah. So your thoughts on this, Joe? Much well deserved. Very obviously posthumous, but again, regarding the circumstances, I think this is a very loving tribute. It will happen again on 8/8/24. Your thoughts on Kobe getting a statue then right outside the Crypto.com arena? It's going to be an emotional day.
Yeah, I think the crowd is going to rival a parade. I think you're going to see 1 million, 2 million people there outside. I don't
Quite
know
the
how,
possibility.
but I believe that's what it would be. It's, I've said this, a year or so ago, and a few times actually on our shows, and there's only really been 2 guys that have brought me to tears that I'd never. Well, I met Magic Johnson, but they're not friends. They're not people I know that I hang out with. Magic and when he was diagnosed with HIV and Kobe's death brought me to tears. And I have a hard time, the more I think about it, hard time being excited about anything when it comes to Kobe, because he should be here. And we were also dealt a huge blow not being able to watch Gianna play in a WNBA, which I think that's where she was going. And both Kobe and her were going to change that league into something that we will never know now what it could have been. And that's the stuff I think about. I think the way my brain works is I don't really get, and I might have talked to Sean about this off air for a little bit. I don't really like to talk about bad things because it tends to put me in an area where my brain kind of gets lost in it, where I don't want to think about it. And it's words that I know people give their respects, they give their prayers and thoughts. My brain is always in the matter of fact. And the matter of fact is he's gone. And I hate it. Not dislike it, not sad. I freaking hate it. And I don't want to think about it. When they interviewed Steve Van Zandt about James Gandolfini, since we were talking about The Sopranos, he is the way his brain works with it is similar to kind of how my brain works. Is if he doesn't hear about it, he just assumes he keeps missing him, because he would say that in certain times he wouldn't see James. They called him Jimmy for like a year or so, because they just would miss each other. And then when they do, hey, what's up? What's going on? And for him, he just sees it as, I'm just missing him. He's still around, but I'm just missing him. And with Kobe, it's just not. I'm seeing interviews on Sportsnet when they're doing the top 10 Laker thing, or watching The Last Dance or something like that, where he's being interviewed. And in my mind, I like to see that, because it makes me feel like he's still here. And then as soon as I hear about a statue, as soon as I hear about his death, a helicopter, whatever, it's like, I don't have pictures of my parents in my house that are visible, because I don't want to see it. I don't want to imagine them being only a picture on my thing. And that's how my brain works. I don't have anything in my office that has Kobe in it. I have it in the office at the warehouse, but I'm in my office very, very small amount of time. I'm a worker. I go work. Office is just to store the paperwork. So yeah, that's kind of how I am. I know I sound kind of depressing right now, but that's just how I heard it today, or I actually heard it a couple of days ago, and I was just like, sucks. Just sucks.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford, along with Joe Soro and Magic Man Sean Grice. Magic Man, any thoughts on what will be a very bittersweet day as a statue will be presented and be displayed for the first time on Kobe Bryant Day? Kobe Bryant and Gigi will be memorialized out in front of the Crypto.com arena, as we've seen with other great statues. I've actually been in front of the arena and have interacted with these statues, as far as seeing the greatness that they are, as far as the level of detail. The Chick Hearn at the table, at the broadcast table, and of course all the other ones that are there. This will go alongside those great statues. Your thoughts about Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant being enshrined in a statue on Kobe Bryant Day in 2024?
Yeah, I think it's just, I think it's just kind of like split down the middle. I think a lot of Laker fans feel the same way as Joe, and then I think there are some who feel like me, and while I totally get where Joe is coming from, I understand it. So when the statue is finally revealed, it's going to be on 08/24, Gerald. It's going to be a day after his birthday. Now, I know we mourn Kobe on January 26th. We're going to celebrate his birthday from now on, too, because that's an important date. And I think the timing surrounding all this is really important as well. More of a celebration of Kobe, as more than a remembrance. It's a celebration of who he was, and the family man he was becoming. And they say that they're going to incorporate both of his jersey numbers. If that's the case, I would like to see uh, both Kobe and Gigi don one of the numbers themselves rather than Kobe uh, wearing a jersey that has both of them on it. I think that would go a long way. Um, obviously Vanessa's going to have a lot to say in this because it's basically a tribute to her baby and you know her husband that unfortunately passed away. So she's going to have a lot of say in this. Um, I hope they picked a great artist. I know the man who did the one in Calabasas was named Dan Medina, Gerald. I'm not sure if he's been conscripted to do that by the Lakers. That I don't think they've given word yet on who's actually doing it. So I'm just hoping for a very beautiful tribute. Like I said, I see it as more of a celebration and a remembrance rather than an effigy to a fallen hero.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate you joining us here. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Again, Kobe will be memorialized in a statue on Kobe Bryant Day in 2024. So it will be a very sad day for all of us as we celebrate the life of Kobe Bryant, still remembering how tragic it was. And again, it just seemed like it wasn't that long ago that he was with us. So we'll definitely be having some bittersweet memories when Kobe Bryant Day comes around. Of course, we'll talk about it here on the show. So before we head on out, guys, again, Team USA plays this weekend. Pau Gasol gets enshrined along with one of the best Hall of Fame classes that's out there that's ever been produced. Your thoughts, Joe? Pau Gasol gets inducted with Dwayne Wade and many others. I'm going to read it down the entire group here. I'm going to look it up right now. So while I do, your thoughts
Dirk,
on
it's Dirk, it's
Dirk?
Powell, it's Dwayne Wade, and Tony Parker.
Well, there's still
Which,
others. Let me go ahead
yeah,
and
but those
I'll
are the
get the other.
four to me. When you
That's
talk
those
about,
to you.
I mean, not to put a damper on the Hall of Fame. I want to, congratulations to everyone who's going in, but I have
Becky Hammon, David Hickson,
yeah,
Gary Blair.
I feel like a lot of the Hall of Fames, not just the Naismith Hall of Fame, has become the Hall of Very Good. I'm a little bit more picky on who should be in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame belongs to players who changed their teams, their league, who dominated for an extensive time. Guys like Dirk, guys like Tony Parker, guys like Dwayne Wade. Pau Gasol was one of those guys that was an amazing domestic and international player, and changed. When I talk about changed, Pau Gasol's trade to LA is one of the more significant acquisitions in NBA history. It changed one of the greats' legacy just by him coming to LA. That's a Hall of Famer. And some of these guys also are Hall of Famers in terms of people, because that does play a factor in this as well. Pau Gasol, Dirk Nowitzki, ambassadors of the game, ambassadors of the world of the game. And I think they did a really good job picking the class this year, especially with those four.
Is this one of the greatest of all time?
Yes.
I would say. I mean, just having those four is it's like hitting on. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I apologize for interrupting.
Oh no, it's okay. It's like hitting four Hall of Famers in a draft, right? I mean, I know they came from different spots, but there is no denying these four. Like, you cannot deny Dirk, Tony, Dwayne, and Pau Gasol. Those are bona fide first ballot Hall of Famers within my book. So yeah, they did a really good job with those guys.
It's probably the best Euro class ever as well, Gerald. You probably have the best Euro shooter ever. You probably have the best, I would say, best overall offensive big in European history in Pau Gasol, not only from the NBA perspective but internationally as well. And then you have Tony Parker, who's kind of the runt of that litter, who basically started out very young, um, but actually Gerald held his mustard under a tough Greg Popovich, who would not excuse a lot of times. Tony Parker said that watching the San Antonio film study, they said it was like the Tony Parker show because Pop would be yelling at him for about 45 minutes, and to become a four-time champion and a finals MVP. And by the way, I know it's unpopular, Gerald, but I actually think uh, him and Manu should have won the finals MVP for '05, not Tim Duncan. But
No doubt, man, who should have won in '05. That was
yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, honestly, he was the best player in the fourth quarter of that whole series. But that's beside the point. Anyway, the best Euro class ever, multiple champions, multiple finals MVPs. Dirk and Tony Parker each have one. Pau didn't have one, but he he's playing beside the second greatest shooting guard of all time, who played a little bit better than him in the finals, just a little bit better. But
I
it's
do
a
want to
great
go ahead.
class, Gerald.
Yeah, great
Great
class.
class.
Let me just go ahead and mention exactly all the different individuals that are being inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Start off with Gene Bess, who was a great coach for across 50 years. Just absolutely incredible record, 1,300 and 400, 1,300 wins as far as on the plate for him. One of the greatest and most winningest coaches of all time. You have Gary Blair, who actually coached a ton of great women's basketball teams. Was actually the national champion in 2011, as far as already part of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. So great coach there. Pau Gasol, Becky Hammon, who we know is one of the big stalwarts of the WNBA and women's basketball. David Hickson, who also was a great coach right there for you. Just absolutely just 826 and 293, 42 years of coaching at the Division III level. So nice to honor individuals who made their mark in smaller schools. Then also as well, you have, of course, Gene Cady from Purdue, coached many, many years. Always remember the hair or the hairline or the lack thereof on top. Still had the comb over while he went and was just so vociferous and animated on the sidelines. Dirk Nowitzki, obviously, nothing much more needs to be said about how great he was and how he revolutionized the big man's game as far as what a stretch four, even into a stretch five at times, what he could be. Tony Parker, one of the stalwarts of the San Antonio Spurs, no doubt. And then the coach behind it all, Greg Popovich, Team USA, San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, a big part of that success, still active today as he goes ahead and coaches Victor Wembanyama. But yes, he's being honored this weekend. Jim Valvano. And if you don't know Jim Valvano, Jimmy V, just the courageousness that he had in his later years before he passed away, but also as well the champion, the miraculous champion and coach of the North Carolina State. If you ever want to go ahead and look up one of the biggest upsets of all time, go ahead and check out NC State and their championship victory and his famous celebration that he had right after the game. Dwayne Wade, of course, the one of the greatest players for the Miami Heat ever, and world champion along with Shaq, and of course, just did a great job of bringing Miami sports to ahead and making them the Miami Heat such a great team and well-known team. And then last but not least, 1976 U.S. Women's Olympic Team, such a great team indeed. So there are your inductees to the Hall of Fame this weekend. A great class, like you said, guys. Just looking forward to seeing them enshrined. Of course, Powell, obviously, yes, from us Lakers fans. But yes, overall, Joe and Sean, I just think just a great class to be set in. I mean, I think we're going to see more great classes down the line, but this is one that's going to be remembered for a long time to come.
Yes, Gerald, 100%. I think that over the next 4 or 5 years, there's a couple of guys coming out. It'll be a pretty good class, but nothing to this level. You have obviously probably at the end of the day three of the top European players to ever play in the NBA, and all three are playoff performers. You have a top five head coach in the NBA all time. You also have one of the greatest WNBA players and a champion coach as well. And Becky Hammon also has a very decorated international career, Gerald, playing for both the United States and Russia. So it's very deep. I don't think another class will come close to it for a very
Absolutely.
long time.
Absolutely. So, congratulations to all the inductees. Good luck to Team USA this weekend. Looks like it's going to be a very busy weekend for us. It all starts in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern, as another Lakerholic Spotlight. So, you will get to hear Laker Tom try to convince me why Anthony Davis should be at the four, just forgetting about LeBron James needing to play the four. You'll hear my answers back on that and if he could truly be a stretch four. But Joe, any last thoughts, my friend, on the way out?
Well, those of you who want LeBron to play the four, I can see him doing that when you have certain lineups where you have to play Davis at the five. But if you guys want to see LeBron be effective, you're going to need him to be a Scottie Pippen type without the defense, obviously, on the floor. You don't really have him. You could say he can play the three and the one, and depending on how you're setting up the offense and how you're setting up the defense and who you're playing against. It's a very fluid perimeter team if they go with who we think they're going to go with, which is likely going to be D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and LeBron. So that's something we're going to need Darvin Ham to figure out. Remember, preservation is paramount with LeBron James. You can run D'Angelo, you can run Austin Reeves. Those guys are young bucks. AD to some degree. But Darvin Ham is going to have to find a way to channel the 2014 Greg Popovich lineup of allowing his star to be effective, but in a small amount of time, which means, like I said before, the Lakers are going to have to hit shots. If the Lakers hit shots, they can do it. If AD is playing the four regularly, you can do it. This is why we're saying those two things have to happen. If they don't, both don't happen, it's going to get put on LeBron's shoulders, and you don't know if he's going to make it through the season because he didn't last year. Now, the stress will be less this year, but you also have to factor in that LeBron is a year older. So there's a lot to discover this year, guys. We're going to find out where LeBron is. LeBron is and AD are key to this. They have to be effective in the end. And if they're not, you're probably going to see the same results you saw last year when they meet a really, really good team or a team that will end up winning the championship. That's it. That's my Jerry Springer button for the night.
Papa, you need to stop with this. Bismack and his 37% free. Everybody should just get Bismack Biyombo out of their vocabulary. Why in the world would you want a 37% free throw shooting over the hill? No longer has his leaping ability, Bismack Biyombo, on this team. It's absolutely mind blowing to see the sheer conversations with this guy's name attached. Unbelievable. There's a reason why Phoenix did not want him anymore on their team. Understand these things before you say these things. I see this on reports along with Christian Wood. I can understand Christian Wood. I've been talking about Christian Wood for years, so I can understand Christian Wood. But when I hear Bismack Biyombo alongside of it, Joe and Sean, it was first really funny, but then I feel sad for these people who do absolutely no research and understanding why Bismack Biyombo should not be part of the Los Angeles Lakers. Do you want the team to win or do you want the team to lose? That's the concept I have when I hear these people talk about Bismack Biyombo. Sean.
Yeah, and yeah, Gerald, and look at the point differential with him on the court as opposed to off of it over the past 4 years. There's a correlation, a causation to that, ladies and gentlemen. If you dig really deep, he's lost.
And
Bismack.
Becky Hammon, by the way, can coach the NBA. She's making a mockery of the WNBA. And that lady can coach in the NBA and can coach and win in the NBA. Don't give me this crap. That's just
who?
Becky Hammon, assistant coach for several years on San Antonio, and then now
it's very difficult to coach in the NBA. If she was to have a shot, she would have needed a franchise player like Tim Duncan to bail her out a little bit, just like Tim Duncan bailed out Popovich, just like Tom Brady bailed out Belichick, because coaches like that have to have the respect of that one all-world player, and everyone has to sit in line. It's very difficult. Look at Quinn Snyder. Look at Budenholzer. You're talking about very good coaches that have won championships and have been contenders as well. Monty's gone to the finals. Dwayne Casey got fired after he got Coach of the Year. You're talking about guys that know how to coach, whatever your definition of that is. But there is this player to coach kind of monkey wrench that gets in the way, and that's what takes precedent over a good coach. Because if she comes in and coaches the Minnesota Timberwolves, I mean,
and Joe, like, just as an example, this is why this year
Becky Hammon will get in your face and tell you and draw some MFs right in your face.
This is why this year, and you can put. I'm not a gambler, but you can put my words to book here. The Washington football team, the Washington Commanders, will not win more than 3 or 4 games this year. A bunch of wusses, the biggest bunch of whining I've ever heard in my life from professional athletes, that a coach is yelling at you over and over again through drills to beat it into you that you need to finish hard. Gerald, there's a great quote. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Do you agree with that?
I agree. Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, Bieniemy comes in there. He's got the pedigree. You need to listen to what he says. Becky Hammon, several years working with Popovich. She's got
the rings. Got the medals.
Yeah,
got the medals. Listen to what
she'll just
somebody
show
has
you
to
her
say.
jewelry of gold medals and rings, championship rings, and there you go.
That
she will get in your face. And you've not seen her coach. You've not seen her. You've got to see her coach.
We saw Kurt Rambis be a very, very, very effective assistant coach, but he can't be a head coach. I don't see someone like Kevin Durant or Damian Lillard or Trae Young or really most of these. You would have to have a setup like Popovich in San Antonio or the support of Pat Riley in Miami to do it. Even in LA, it wouldn't work because I don't think Jeannie runs that kind of operation. Now, as far as you talking about the Commanders, Sean, I have heard a little bit about what happened there, and I gotta say, I'm really, really, really disappointed in Ron Rivera and how soft he's become. And this is the problem with a lot of this stuff, guys. It's the guys that used to be like this turning into this. We need to stop fantasizing again, guys. We're fantasizing too much. Common sense and results. Common sense, results. I am not in the turf business. I'm in the results business. Does that make sense? Sports is about results. That's what I grew up watching. So you take it into your life. That's why I like sports. You can't fake Trae Young, Durant, LeBron, AD. You can't just go and, hey, I know this guy who knows that guy who knows this guy and put him in. You can't do that. So let's get out of the fantasy that certain things will happen when reality says it won't. We know the culture of this thing. It's gotten to the point where Eric Bieniemy has had to deal with the fact that no one wants to hire this guy because they feel like he's not head coaching material because of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Cool. Very valid point. We don't know that. But all of a sudden, Andy Reid, being the great man he is, has supported Eric Bieniemy and probably told him, Eric, go somewhere else, help that team win, and you'll get the next head coaching job you want. So this poor guy says, sure, no problem. I'll go to freaking Washington and try to pump that thing up, right? He puts his effort in. He's demanding greatness because he just came from greatness. And what happens? Grown-ass football players, basketball players, baseball players, I might give you a little bit there. That's why they're playing baseball and basketball, because most of those guys all played football growing up, right? And they're like, hey, man, this ain't for me. I'm going to go play baseball and basketball. But this is football players acting like this now. They should be ashamed. And I don't know. I'm not feeling like Ron Rivera was backing up Eric Bieniemy. I might be wrong. Wrong.
No,
but I felt like
wrong.
Ron Rivera was telling on Eric Bieniemy through the media saying, well, you know.
Dry snitching. It's dry snitching. That's what it was.
This is the guy that was on the 85 Bears. Those guys were tearing your internal organs out, eating them, and then regurgitating them back in your body. What the hell happened to Ron Rivera? This is a cancer survivor. This guy's the size of a freaking building. What happened? What's going on with these guys? What happened to their balls? Seriously, is somebody just blackmailing these guys and tell them, hey, you're going to do what I tell you because I know about this? I bet you that's what it is. Bet you that's what it is in certain instances. Get a quarterback, the Washington Redskins of Commanders of the football team, whatever you want to call yourselves. Thank God Magic's over there. He's already talking about changing that name. See, this is what I love about Magic, man. He knows the little things sometimes, man. He knows the little things. Can't manage a basketball team, but damn it, man, that guy knows what pops when it matters because that's his thing. So, yeah, it's, going back to the Becky Hammon coaching opportunity thing, if she doesn't go to a team that has a superstar, I'm talking like MVP superstar, like a Tim Duncan, not even like a Joel Embiid, not even like a Jokic. I'm talking about Tim Duncan type, Paul Gasol in his prime, Kobe type, that kind of guy. No one, they'll tune her out too, just like they tune out 90% of the other coaches. Sorry, Gerald.
I'm sorry, Joe. You're absolutely dead wrong.
I'm dead right on that one.
Dead wrong. Dead wrong. You and all the other chauvinists out there are dead wrong.
You can call me whatever you want. You can interpret however you want. No one listens to 90% of NBA coaches.
You talk to those players on San Antonio. You talk to everybody in the NBA that actually is a scout and understands what she did during her years in San Antonio. You talk to Sean, who observes the NBA. He knows. That's all you need to know. That's all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody compliments before they have to deal with things.
Yeah.
And if she was that good, she would have gotten a job. Why wouldn't she get a job then? If all the people,
I just said,
if Popovich holds any water in the league, she should have had a job. But
Popovich should have retired and let her take over the job. That's what should have happened.
Well,
but
he's not going to pass. He's not going to pass up $10 to $12 million a year.
Well, there you go. So there you go.
Yeah. Well,
again,
I mean, maybe with Steve Kerr, Steve Kerr's grooming someone right now, isn't he? From what I'm hearing. Why wouldn't they go talk? Because they're a pretty open type, organization. Why didn't they go and recruit Becky Hammon?
So, Gerald, why do we have female Major League Baseball or NFL female coaches? I think you do have female coaches that are on
Assistant
coaching
coaches.
staff.
Yep.
Yeah, you do.
Yep, you do.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Answer question answered there. So I will tell you though that this debate can continue. Again, our opinion against Joe's opinion, and
Not an
obviously the
opinion.
guys out there. It's the opinion. It's your opinion.
It's not an opinion.
It is an opinion.
This is a culture thing in the NBA.
Well, again, the old boys.
Monty Williams, who has everyone's respect. Ty Lue, Phil Jackson, even Pat Riley, 1990. Everybody gets burnt out at some point, right? Everybody has to leave at some point, and most of these guys don't even have the chance to leave with some kind of grace because they'll have.
You guys can't just recognize talent. Just admit you guys cannot recognize talent when you see it. It's just that simple. You don't care if you're just saying it. Your chauvinism blinds you.
No, that's your mind.
That's your
social mind telling you that. I'm basing it off of.
Tells me my eyes. The eye test. You always talk about the eye test, Joe.
You're wrong on this one.
Proves it.
You're wrong on this one.
She can coach.
You're 100% wrong. Not 99.
I'm 100% right.
100% wrong.
I am 100% right. I am 100% right.
A Tim Duncan,
100% right.
A Steph Curry in his prime to have a shot at staying there, because we know after a year or two when she's 13 and 40 during the first 53 games, what's going to be said? What's going to start?
She doesn't look like she's 13 and 40 now. I
don't count the WNBA. That's not a normal league.
Oh, okay. Spoken like a true chauvinist, indeed.
Hey, if your league needs to be subsidized by another league, I can't take you seriously.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
It's just like somebody living off of somebody else's salary. How am I going to?
I'm just telling you. You go, okay. Obviously, you don't know the NBA as well as you think.
I know the NBA probably better than most.
But not as well as Sean and I, and we'll leave it at that.
I would say I could put something together there, and we can.
The history. Really that's great. You know the history, but today's product, Joe, a little bit out of touch.
No. If there was value there, then the value would have been met. So you tell me who's doing what out there. I'm telling you what's happening.
She had the opportunity to stay as coach. As a lead assistant coach of the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, but she didn't want to be a lead assistant coach. She wanted to be a head coach.
Okay. Well, tell that. What about all the other guys that go around and years or lead assistant coaches?
Etienne Messina was an assistant for a long time in San Antonio. I thought he would get the job, and that never happened. So
I don't think Popovich, this is my guess, I don't think Popovich thought he'd have a chance to coach another great player, and I think he changed his mind when he saw things progressing the way they did.
Joe, I also think the death of his wife affected
that plays a factor too. Yeah,
his decision as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to go there. Obviously, he is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. So again, hopefully he'll be able to think on that fondly. But he'll have a lot of emotions going in, obviously, without his wife being there as well. So I don't want to even go into that part of it. So
and Gerald Pop also had a tremendous amount of respect for Kobe as well. So I'm sure he'll be emotional thinking about the matchups that he saw Pau and Kobe just absolutely dominate him. But I also remember his reaction to that news, and he was still grieving the death of his own wife. Big deal. We played a basketball game. Who cares? I thought it was very eloquent what he had to say, and like you said, Gerald, I think it'll be an emotional day for everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Powell will be thinking about Kobe, and I'm sure he'll mention him in the speech, and then, of course, Greg Popovich will mention his wife. It just be it'll be a very bittersweet day this weekend as far as the different things that are done. It's said in the Hall of Fame this weekend, so go ahead and check that out. But also Team USA on Saturday and Sunday. Go ahead and check them out in action on FS1 on Saturday and also Fox on Sunday. Looking forward to that. Zangerstein says, look at the recent rise in the WNBA ratings when they started putting NCAA women on TV. Like, how can I watch? It is inaccessible to me, even if I want to pay. Samir says it's all about money. If there's demand, networks will broadcast it. Yeah, it's what we see. If there's a demand, people will watch it. But I'm just speaking. Sean and I are saying it based off of what we see as far as the talent that she has. So
and hey, let's not forget, Gerald. I think one of the highest rated basketball games of the year was Iowa and Mississippi State, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Yep. I'll leave it at that. Joe's just like giving you that smile that that's just
it's like
it's a very facetious smile.
Like it's like one of those like Quinn Snyder, like Martin Scorsese,
very
smiles,
superficial,
like in the Psycho movies where it's coming.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna have to go because I will be back here in about 10 hours, anyways, a little over 10 hours, talking to Laker Tom and hearing him. You think Joe is a blowhard at times? Check out me tomorrow, trying to hear all
the difference between me and most of the blowhards that is I don't run and hide when I get challenged.
Now, I will give you that.
I will bring a bigger hammer the next time, so be prepared.
Well, we won't be hopefully talking about these issues each and every time out. We could talk about Christian Wood. How about that?
I'll talk about all of it. I don't care. Well, I'm not afraid of anyone.
Yeah, there you go.
What? I'm gonna go change the subject for who? For
again,
what?
I get to deal with Laker.
Sincerely, Ricky Waters.
I get to deal tomorrow with Laker Tom talking about how our new stretch 4, aka Anthony Davis, will fare this season. So
stretch 4.
Check out his latest blog on Laker.
Who's our stretch 4?
He said Anthony Davis. He's envisioning of him that he has to return to a stretch 4. He was never our stretch 4, but he now has to return to the stretch 4, according to
32% from 3-point range last year. But yeah, our stretch 4. Okay.
What was he? I thought it was 19% from 3-point.
A lot of stretching.
Maybe I'm thinking of the playoffs, Gerald. Yeah.
Yeah. He's 19. Yeah, he was under 20%.
Speaking of stretching, I need to stretch, man. I'm kind of tight right now.
Yeah, as am I. But I will say it's great having Joe here. You're
gonna need to stretch because I'm, getting to the point where in about a month I'm gonna have to come over and whip your ass.
I'm here in Vegas, ready when you are. We'll go at it indeed. But once again, it is Joe Soro. It is Matching Match. You'd think Joe's like this just on camera. He threatens us all the time in the emails too. So yes.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. So, or he'll throw like a very scary looking meme, which I actually just mistaken for him. Just end up, just as far as doing a selfie, it's supposed to be a scary
meme. I'm just waiting for that big boy meme. You want a bath? Sean?
I'm waiting for feelings to be hurt.
No feelings hurt here.
Mm-hmm.
Becky Hammon, again, that's up to her. If she wants to go ahead and do what she needs to do. She's killing it in Las Vegas.
It's not up to her. If it was up to her, she would have been coaching an NBA team right now.
Well, she'd be still the lead assistant at San Antonio if she wanted.
I'd rather be a head coach.
Yeah,
when you're a boss, you got to be a boss.
She interviewed several times, just like Darvin Ham. How many times did it take Darvin Ham to become a head coach? How many interviews did he have to go through? Yeah, there you go. No words there. But once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro and Sean Grice. It is Gerald Glassford having the last word. But I want to thank you so much for watching and listening. I'll be on the air tomorrow with Laker Tom, a Lakerholic Spotlight. Sean, can you get Joe or Nick to go ahead and do the post game on Team USA with you tomorrow? Or is that a possibility?
Is that a possibility for you, Joe?
I'll have to see how the day progresses tomorrow.
So that's probably a no.
Somebody will be on with you.
Somebody, yeah. We'll find somebody.
We'll find somebody. We'll find somebody for you because probably would be around 2:30, probably.
Yeah, because a lot of these
about 3 p.m.
Some of these FIBA games are like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So
this is 12:30 in the afternoon Pacific, so it's a good time. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much again for watching and listening. It's been a spirited conversation as always right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Glad we could provide it for you. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any comments, please go ahead and put it in the comment sheet below. Again, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. It is so fun going ahead into the back shows that I get a chance to watch and seeing the ads pop up, and we get nothing from it right here from the Lakers Fast Break. But you can change that by going ahead and subscribing and hitting the little Joe on the right-hand corner of your screen and subscribing to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Zangerstein, yes, appreciate it as always. Intel Wild, thanks so much. Appreciate you being on since the beginning of the show. Papa, were very opinionated, and we had our disagreements, but still great to have you here. Kurt, Samir, everybody, great to have you here. Cannot thank you enough. Adam, obviously with his opinions as well. He wants Cam Thomas on the team as an offensive player, absolutely. As a defensive player, oh my gosh, that's a accident waiting to happen. But thanks so much again for watching us. Darren says fans don't mean you know basketball. Fans doesn't mean you know basketball. I don't know what the English on that statement. It just doesn't.
Hopefully, a usable big gets waived.
Yeah,
I got that. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. There you go. Absolutely. There you go, Darren. All right. Hopefully usable big gets yes. It's on site next time, Gerald. It's on site next time.
What?
Huh? I know. That's same here. Both of you. Finish out your sentences, please. It's not like Twitter where you're limited on characters.
It's X, not Twitter.
It's Twitter.
It's X.
Yeah. Well, no. For you, maybe it's Twitter. For me,
no, it shows it on the phone. It says X.
I type in twitter.com for me. At Lakers Fast Break on twitter.com. There you go right there. So once again, it is Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much again for watching and listening. We'll see you tomorrow right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Have a great weekend, everyone.